when I'm reading your book, you're journaling, you're taking notes.
Yeah.
Are you doing that throughout your entire career?
I wish when I was in Peshawar, in the first part of that book, I didn't take notes.
Okay.
And
Why'd you start then?
because after that, I wish I had. So when I went to Afghanistan, I was like, okay, I'm going to keep notes because I want to remember this stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually thinking I was going to write a book, but I wanted to, I was like, I got to keep a journal because I want to remember the stuff that happens. And then maybe 3 or 4 months later, something comes up that I need to go back and so I decided.
It's super interesting that you did that. Okay, so after you're at the training center, you end up putting in and getting Peshawar, Pakistan.
Right, yeah.
Why Pakistan?
Yeah, again, well, there was like, yeah, I had just come back from Algiers. I was in DC for 2 years, and there was these openings to become an RSO. And when you're a DSS agent, the way you make your bones, if you will, is to become a regional security. You run your own office overseas.
Okay.
So Peshawar, it was like me and 2 other guys who bid on it. And a couple of these other guys ended up going to Iraq. So I kind of was like, I was pretty much still a youngish agent. I only had, what did I have? 6 years in, and I was able to get an RSO job running my own shop.
Wow.
So that's what that, I mean, I made a more of a, I didn't have to go overseas yet, but I decided to for this position because I just thought it was like a challenge and it was a way for me to progress up the chain, if you will. And then when I got over there, I never dreamed it was going to be what it was. I mean, I was there for a year. We had 21 bombings in the city that year. My chief of police, who was a good friend of mine, was killed by a suicide bomber. There was a lot of things that went on in that year that I detail in my book and that I never dreamed of. Never dreamed that I'd be dealing with something like that.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the stuff in the book, and I may be jumping around because you obviously go to Afghanistan.
Yeah, sure.
Is the story that you tell about Earl, is that Pakistan?
Yes.
Okay. So I found it interesting. So you're flying in, you meet this guy, Earl, who's basically your position.
Right, I'm replacing him.
And he's mentally checked out.
Yeah,
So can you talk about a little bit about that? I mean, so you're there for a year, I'm assuming because you're in a high danger area. That's why it's only a year rotation out of those spots.
Yeah.
What does DSS offer you in terms of, I don't know, counseling?
Yeah, at that point, this was in 2006 to 2007, and they weren't offering much of anything yet because we had just gotten into Iraq in 2003. And then, again, this is only so many years after 9/11.
Yeah.
And as the years went on, DSS realized, well, we got these guys in basically non-permissive environments, almost combat. Plenty of DS agents who have been in shootouts in some pretty bad places and well, blown up or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when they decided to do like peer support programs and things like that to try to help each other. But when I was in Peshawar in 2006, 2007 as the RSO, I could take leave twice in a year. And it was and I only could use the leave that I had collected since I've been a DSS agent. For 2013, when I go to Afghanistan, their packages are DSS realized they got to entice people to go to these places, so they give you a much better benefits package, if you would. You didn't just get your own leave, you got administrative leave that you could use too. They stopped the cap. They raised the cap so you could make a lot of overtime money. So those are the reasons you were able to, those are the ways that they enticed people to take those positions, those kind of enticements.
Okay. Is that where you meet Crocker, the ambassador?
I met Ryan Crocker when he was ambassador to Pakistan. And he came to, I was the regional security officer in Peshawar maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and he's coming for a trip. So I just barely got there. And I decided I was going to do all the advance work for his visit. So I got all the sites that he was going to. I did security advance work for all his sites because that's what you're trained to do as a DSS agent. So I know he was coming with security people, so, DSS agents from the embassy in Islamabad, but I acted as the advance agent. So he comes off the plane he lands in Peshawar and he gets driven to the first site, and I'm standing outside of that site waiting for him. And the motorcade pulls up and he gets out of the car, and before I even, good morning, sir, and he's like, puts his hand to shake my hand, and he's like, hey, Steve, great to be here in Peshawar. I've heard a lot of good things about you. Holy shit. It's just like, he knows my name. I mean, I'm sure he read a cable or whatever, and knew but I was just, right off the bat, that impressed me, that this guy knows my name and throws me a little compliment right off the bat.